So we are off and running. Welcome to the All In Advisor Access podcast. I'm your host, Blair Barton, Senior Financial Advisor and CEO of Auxiliary I&I, and very, very excited today to be joined by a dear friend of mine and a colleague, and really my partner for day-to-day activity with Auxiliary I&I. And I remember we met a few years ago, and we're about to work together one day, and as I was being introduced, the gentleman told me, walking up to him, was like, this guy's an alpha dog. You two might not get along because you're very similar. And so that was my introduction to him. And Aiden and I hit it off, very quickly. We talked about, one day, working in a firm together. We did actually briefly work in a firm together. Turns out it was a bad idea for both of us. And when the auxiliary opportunity came up, and Aiden was the first guy I thought of. He loved the idea and jumped on board. So welcome in our digital marketing specialist, Aiden Tate.
Thanks for having me on this side of the camera now, Blair. It's a pleasure to be here. And yeah, the one thing you left out of that story was that when we're introducing each other, said we're too much alike. They said actually you were a bit more handsome. But yeah, it's been a fun ride, and I'm looking forward to the future of it, man. Thanks for having me on.
Well, that was a lie, because very, very excited to have Aiden on. Aiden does so much for us, and he's actually been working very closely with our guest. So we've recently partnered with Manulife to install a tool on our website, and here she is to talk a little bit more about that. Welcome, Jaime Inglis from Manulife.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we really appreciate you joining us today, and I know we've been in contact quite a bit since we partnered together, and very excited to have you on. And we just installed this tool this week. And we've been promoting it all week to try to, get more awareness of it out there, that there's a self-directed product. So let's jump right into it. First of all, what's your title with Manulife, and what do you do?
Business Development Manager. So my role is to work with, primarily working with financial advisors and discussing our products and opportunities available for your clients. So really honing in on what's the best solution for your clients as a financial advisor, so that you can offer a wide variety of solutions, not just life insurance and investments, but now you can offer some of the banking products as well.
Absolutely, and we've worked together on those projects, and I can certainly vouch that we're looking at a full comprehensive approach to clients and making sure that there's all options on the table as far as what they're looking for. So let me start with the first question that people might have, and we actually sent out a question to our viewers and our followers. What would you like to ask Jaime about this? So here's what we got. What are the benefits of the Advantage account?
The Advantage account with Manulife Bank isn't just a typical bank account. So it's been designed as a high interest savings account where you can put your, I guess you would call it dormant money, sitting that you would have in a savings account traditionally, into a high interest savings account where you can actually collect some interest. So there's a lot of competitors out there now where we've added some extra features with this account, so that it kind of covers off everything. It's not just a savings account. So you can collect. Right now, the rates are a little lower than normal just because of the environment we're in, but you can collect a 0.15% right now on that savings account. So any money that you're keeping as sort of like an emergency fund, you can keep in that full functioning savings account.
I'm glad you mentioned that, emergency fund, because, a lot of people don't realize how important an emergency fund is, and they should, especially after going through what we've gone through for the last year, how important it is to have 3 to 6 months worth of bills set aside that you can have access to, and then invest the rest, right?
Exactly.
And then you create your budget around that. So if you're watching this or you're listening to this, know that this is what you should have. So you have mortgage, car payments, groceries, tally up what you spend in a month, times it by 6, have that in a savings account. But when you sit in a bank, it sits in a typical bank in a checking or savings account, you're earning next to nothing on it. So that's where this comes in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with the Manulife Advantage account, it's a personal account, so it's in your own personal name. And with there are no fees associated with this account if you maintain $1,000 in this account. So it is not just a high interest savings account. We've actually been able to collaborate like a checking and a savings together. So, you know, if you keep $50 in there and then you transfer funds, you are going to have a fee associated with that, like a typical high interest savings account. But now what we've done in the last 2 years, we've incorporated this feature where clients can keep $1,000, which is totally achievable, sorry, and then you can do transactions without any fees at all. So that means e-transfers, you're paying bills, you're transferring funds, all of those, e-transfers, you have to pay the minimum, I think it's $1. But those fees are, everything else is removed on that account because you've maintained that $1,000. So not only are you going to get interest paid on that balance, now you can do unlimited transactions within that account. So we've kind of collaborated those two different types of accounts that you would either typically have a checking and you would have a savings. So now we've combined them together. So as long as you keep $1,000 in that account, you can do both. You can actually treat it like a savings and a checking combo.
Absolutely fantastic, and that's accessible on our site.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to ask too. Is we've obviously have this on our website, which is a great way for people who are interested to get set up nice and easy. Driving around, I don't really see a Manulife Bank on the corner. It's not your typical big four financial institution. That's nothing wrong with that. But how does someone access Manulife Bank services, or more specifically this account? As I mentioned, we have it on our website. But how does someone get up and running with this great account?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for opening an account, the great thing is we've got this amazing feature where financial advisors like yourself, you can have a link actually on your website that is actually personalized, so that an advisor can share that with their clients. They can actually upload the link and fill out an application and open the account within 3 minutes. It's super easy. What they do is basically verify some personal information that is pulled from the credit. It's not a credit check, but it's information that you have to basically verify your credit history, I guess you would call it. That opens the account. As far as transactionally, like if you want to go and withdraw money out of a bank machine, there's multiple ways you can do it. So either you can do the kind of the newer way of banking, which is e-transfers, pay your bills like that. Or if you needed cash, you could go to any of our bank machines, which is we call it the exchange network. It is a combination of various banks pooled together. Right on our mobile app, you can actually find an ABM locator. And basically what it is a pooling of National Bank, HSBC, all of the credit unions, and our Manulife Bank branded machines, which are in the Circle K variety stores. So I know it's kind of hard to believe, but we are actually a second largest ABM network in the industry. So it seems like they might be a little harder to come across, but if you actually use that ABM locator, we're everywhere. So it's a lot easier to bank with us. We actually allow clients to link external accounts as well. So if you wanted to keep your bank account open with another big bank, like let's just say RBC, for instance, you keep your original bank account open and you have your Manulife Bank account, and you can move money back and forth, just like paying a bill. And there's no fee associated with that. So it's pretty easy to bank with us nowadays.
Yeah, it kind of seems like a seamless transition.
Yeah, it's really straightforward.
And I would think that, the reason for that, the reason for you guys being able to not pay fees with that is keeping a low overhead by being a virtual bank, right? I know for us, for example, we are virtual advisory. We're one of the pioneers as far as brokers that have been able to completely be online, and everyone's kind of adapting to try to catch up to us. But you guys are in a similar boat where you don't have to pay these fees because you're not paying millions and millions of dollars a year to be on every street corner downtown Toronto, right?
You got it.
Yeah, and I just find that so refreshing. it's a really client centric approach that you're not looking to grease anybody for all these fees. And when you take your money to a typical bank, what you're doing is, and you're not getting anything back in return, is that money will they take that money and lend it to someone else, charge a whole bunch of interest on it, and then boom, that's how their rent, that's how they pay their bigwigs. You guys have a completely different approach, and I love it, and that's why I thought Manulife was a great partner for Auxiliary I&I, and really just so excited to have you as a partner, and just for them to be able to self-direct, open this link on their own, and of course we're always here for any other needs that you have. So good stuff.
Yeah, very straightforward.
Yeah, like that's one thing. I mean, I'm not too far off the age where I was kind of just getting set up with these, accessible accounts, right? So when I'm looking at the Advantage account, it is something that, someone on the younger type of demographic, such as myself, or anyone who's looking really for something nice and easy to get into, where they don't have to worry about, how am I going to transition my money over there? Do I have to pay all these like monthly maintenance fees, etc.? There really isn't anything like that, and it's a pretty good rate of return on it anyway. So if you are looking somewhere to to park your slush fund, which is so important, like even myself, someone who has no dependents, right? I have a slush fund because with everything going on, I took CERB a couple of times. You may be hit with taxes, you may have to pay a little bit of that. And especially with the lockdown, like if you're someone who's working in that part-time level or even full-time level somewhere where you're being put out of work right now because of everything, having a slush fund really is important, especially when you have all these monthly expenses. So what Blair said earlier is paramount, right? Like you can't emphasize it enough. I mean, even though I'm using this example for the United States, but a very wide amount of the population doesn't even have like $400 to spend, right? Just because it's that week to week, I got to pay my bills, I have to save for this, these are my expenses. So being able to kind of put your money somewhere where you don't have to worry about it, it's going to grow over time, it's safe. I think that's really undervalued. Like it's a fantastic thing, and everyone should really take advantage of it.
Well, yeah, and with the minimum only being $1,000, I think that's absolutely fantastic, because I mean, you should, if you're watching this and you don't know this, a slush fund is absolutely one of the most important things of a healthy financial plan. And who doesn't have a slush, like whose bills over 3 to 6 months isn't going to be $1,000, right? So the minimum is really absolutely nothing, right? And I think it's, like you said, very achievable. And people should be rushing out to join up for this. And they can just head over to our website. There's an easy link to get in there. Like Jamie said, you can access it just about anywhere, which I absolutely love, because essentially the banks are paying all that rent. You're just working in a partnership with them. Circle K being a place where you're able to kind of access those funds as well, for people that, if there's depending on where you are, if you're in the country, or you're driving from Toronto to Ottawa or something, you want to pull over, there's like cute little stores and stuff like that take cash. You want to buy a pie or chocolate or wine or whatever. It's just right there. Circle K's are everywhere now. So that's absolutely incredible. Just the reach that you guys have, and being the largest the company do so is just fantastic.
There's a Circle K down the road from me, so it's not far off.
They're everywhere.
I can 6 of them from my window, like, because I'm in a high rise, so I can see them everywhere right now. So it's funny.
I just wanted to touch on one comment you had there, Blair. I just want to emphasize there's no minimum specifically. Like, you could open the account with 1 cent if you want. The minimum is on the unlimited transactions. So I just want to highlight that, because that is our biggest feature, and I love that part of it. I may have talked a little bit too much about it. You can keep $50 in there, but if you're anything like my son, you keep that $1,000 in there, and you take advantage of that opportunity where you can do unlimited transactions and collect interest at the same time. So I just want to emphasize that. And one other thing, as far as taking that cash out, don't forget, you can go to Walmart or any of those big box stores, I guess, and take that cash advance as well. So, I mean, sometimes you don't even need to go to a bank machine in that case. You can just go do your regular shopping, take $50 out, because cash isn't as common as it used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
But,
have all the big covered, and yeah, sorry, that's a great point. There's no minimum sign up, but there's no fees after 1,000. So
you got it.
Which is, that's just terrific. That's what I was getting at. But I really appreciate you, clarifying that, just in case anyone got the wrong idea. Absolutely fantastic, and have them in the big box stores, as we call them now since the pandemic. The ones that kind of carry everything and the prices are a little bit cheaper. Definitely, put a hindrance on the smaller businesses, so we get that big box store kind of label going. But the fact that they're there, and that's where a lot of people are able to access whatever they need for essential services, and they can do it there with no fee. And you really covered off like you're in the now, you're a little bit in the past, but you're certainly in the future, a step ahead of the game as far as having no fees, e-transfers, access the money wherever you want, pretty much. And however you want to go, you want to e-transfer, you want to pay debit, you want to pay cash, Manulife is there for you. And that was one really intriguing thing for me as we decided to partner with you.
It is. It's pretty straightforward. Once you've tested it out once, it's easy running.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm a big fan of it. So listen, this has been absolutely fantastic having you on. I know that we both have meetings coming up in just a few minutes. So, Aiden's always busy. So I really appreciate you jumping on today. Do you have any closing comments or anything you want to say to our viewers?
No, actually, thank you very much for having me on. Test it out, check out the link. Once you've applied, there's no obligations. It's easy. Online banking, mobile banking, all of those features are top of the line. High, probably 5-star rating on all of these transactional opportunities. So please test us out and let me know if you have any questions.
And you can find that on the Auxiliary I&I website at auxi.ca, auxii.ca. Very easy to find there. Aiden, closing comments?
You guys are nailed it on the head. It's super simple. You can literally get to what James is providing us with the Advantage account in like 2 clicks. You on our website, quotes and tools at the top, Advantage account, you're done. Set up from there, you're all good to go. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. All right. So for Eddie Donan and the Eddie Donan team, we thank you. And he was unable to come today because he's a busy man in the showing. One of the top GTA real estate agents. So thanks, Eddie. I know you're sorry you couldn't make it, and definitely going to make it up to us with the top performance next week. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight at 6 p.m.